Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is far and away one of the best animated movies of the last decade, and it was full of amazing and memorable scenes, but to me, there was one scene in particular that stood out above all the rest: Puss's first encounter with death. I am not joking when I say this. This scene might literally be a completely perfect scene. And I don't mean that metaphorically or rhetorically or theoretically or poetically. This might be a perfect scene straight up. But why? What makes this scene so insanely good? Well, I'm so glad you clicked on this video, because that's exactly what I'm going to be breaking down for us all today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to hit that bell to stay notified whenever I drop a new one. Alright. In order to understand why this scene is perfect, we need to understand what role it has in the movie. Puss's first encounter with death has two main functions: to be the catalyst for Puss's character growth and to introduce the new antagonist, death. Let's analyze the first point. At the beginning of the movie, Puss is shown to be fearless not because of true courage, but because of ignorance and relying on the fact that he has 9 lives. He lives recklessly and carelessly, and after he dies an 8th time, he seems to be no different. The fact that he is on his final life has not set in yet. Then, Puss runs into the wolf. Puss charges into battle recklessly and unafraid like he has always done. But this time, he has come across an opponent whose skill seems to surpass his own. Death nearly kills Puss, slicing his head open, and Puss, who according to his song had never been touched by a blade before, realizes that he is mortal. This is best conveyed in the one close-up shot where Puss's eyes are wide with fear. As the shot lingers on Puss's new expression of worry, a single drop of blood slowly rolls into the frame. And it is at this precise moment that Puss, as well as the audience, realizes that the legend is mortal and could very well permanently die in this fight. So much is conveyed in this single shot, and I'll have more to say about it when we get to how this scene perfectly sets up death. But for now, let me just say that it is possibly the most important shot of the entire film, as this is the moment where Puss first learns what it's like to fear death. This fear of permanent death is then conveyed through a quick montage of Puss's lives flashing before his eyes, as he begins to realize that his entire journey could end right here and now. When Puss makes the decision to run away instead of picking up his sword and resuming the fight, it signifies how his built-up persona of the fearless legend, which was represented by and associated with the sword, has been completely decimated. His whole perception of himself has been shattered, and the legend has been broken. But breaking the legend was necessary for Puss to begin to change for the better, and it is this near-death experience which eventually leads Puss to learning humility, the value of life, and a healthy reverence of death. All of Puss's character development throughout the rest of the movie all comes back to this one scene, and through multiple uses of powerful and effective symbolism, this scene perfectly breaks our arrogant protagonist in order to set him up on the journey of redefining who he is. That's one half of the equation. But now, let's analyze how this scene at the bar also perfectly sets up our villain, the wolf, for the rest of the movie. The first thing we ever see or hear from the wolf is his iconic whistle, and therefore, it is what we, as well as Puss, will come to automatically associate with the wolf's presence for the rest of the film. If you've seen the movie, then you remember how effective just the whistle of the wolf was at making the whole tone of a scene change to fear and dread, even when he was off screen. Well, you can thank this first encounter with death at the bar for the effectiveness of that whistle, because not only is it first strongly identified with the wolf's character in this scene, but it is only effective because the wolf is set up as an extremely dangerous threat in his first fight with Puss. It is then revealed through clever dialogue who he is and what his motivations are, and upon first glance, the wolf appears to be a bounty hunter who is after Puss to get a reward. However, once he's revealed to be death, some of these lines at the bar take on a whole new meaning, and it becomes apparent that these lines were actually foreshadowing Death's true character and intentions with hunting down Puss. Aside from masterfully revealing Death's deeper motivations in a subtle way, this scene also sets him up to be an extremely dangerous threat to Puss. I hinted at this before, but allow me to go more in depth as to how exactly this is done. Right off the bat, the size differential between Puss and Death is apparent, and visually conveys to the audience that the wolf has the advantage over Puss. If it was just size that made an opponent dangerous, then we would have feared for Puss against the giant. But there's more. On top of this advantage in size, the wolf comes across as a powerful threat because of the way he acts. He's cold, calculated, doesn't attack Puss right away, but rather calmly plays with him, toys with him, seems fully confident in himself. And when the time comes, he easily defeats Puss. And not just defeats him, he nearly kills Puss. We have never seen an opponent overpower Puss in this way. And the fact that he viciously strikes when our hero is at his most vulnerable is what makes him a feared foe. From the moment the drop of blood enters into the frame, as Puss slowly realizes that he can die from this fight, the wolf now becomes forever cloaked in Puss's fear, since he was the one responsible for it. Just to reiterate, it is because of the way Death comes so extremely close to killing Puss that he invokes fear into Puss as well as the audience every time he makes an appearance. The writers of this movie wanted Death to be a character that could flip the entire tone of a scene with just a whistle, and the only reason that became a reality was because of the way the wolf was expertly introduced in this scene. There's lots more to talk about this scene at the bar. The strong stylized use of color that conveys Puss's emotions, the excellent way the score signals how this fight is different than anything Puss has been in before, how the dark and stormy night and lonely setting aids this scene in starkly contrasting the lighthearted nature of the movie up until this point, the perfect voice acting by Antonio Banderas and Wagner Moura. Forgive me if I mispronounced that, I probably did, but to completely break down this scene, I'd have to make a 30-minute video at least. There's just so much to unpack here, but I think I nailed the main points that I wanted to speak on, which is the way the scene perfectly fulfills its roles of breaking Puss's persona of the legend so that he could mature and grow as a character, as well as setting up the wolf as a threatening and frightening antagonist, and subtly introducing the deeper layers of his character. And if you want to learn more about the wolf's clever writing and why he's such a great villain, you can check out my character study on him on my channel. Link is in the description. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more videos like it, please leave a like and subscribe as it really helps me out. And leave any feedback or your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, I'll catch you all on the next one. Have a great day.